Hi everyone, welcome to the virtual NCS Fest. I'm T. FOUGNER. I am the editorial director for comics at King Features Syndicate and Comics Kingdom. And I am here today with the cartooning stars of Instagram. So we've got Luke McGarry, Linears, Nick Selleck, and Maritza Petrinos. And I'm just so excited to be here with all of you. Thanks for joining us and thanks for sharing your time. We're really excited to hear, we're really excited to hear about folks who are using Instagram and using it successfully, and what your experiences with it have been. So just let's get started. If everybody can just introduce themselves, and we're gonna keep, if we can keep that order. I've got Luke, Linears, Nick, and Maritza here. Just introduce yourselves, let people know a little bit about your work, and tell people what your Instagram handle is so that they can find you.
Will I go first?
Yeah.
I'm Luke McGarry at Lukey McGarry on Instagram. I do comics and silly little puns, and lately a lot of political cartoons, which have been getting popular online, but also getting me in a lot of trouble. So that's me.
I'm just enjoying Luke's drawings. I'm Linears at PORLINIERS, which would be by Linears, because somebody had the Linears before me for some reason in Buenos Aires, so I just went with Por Linears. And I do a daily strip called Macanudo. I'm from Argentina, so but now I'm living in Vermont. There you can see a photograph of Messi taking a photograph of me, that's how big I'm in Argentina. I got Messi taking photographs of me, that guy. So it's and I just put some of my comics and some of the stuff that happens to me. I'm all over the place on my Instagram account.
Hi, I'm Nick Selleck, and I do the Awkward Yeti, probably better known for Heart and Brain, and my handle is at the Awkward Yeti. And yeah, my comics are mostly about a heart and a brain and how they interact, and that coffee cup.
And Maritza.
Hi, I'm Maritza. My handle is very simple. It's just my name, Maritza Petrinos. There's only one of me. And most of my comics are slice of life stuff. I do a one-panel comic for a strip called Six Chicks that T knows all about, because I was on that Six Chicks panel the other night.
Great. I should update my intro to add that I'm the least popular person on this panel. So it's like, oh, damn.
All those are just a number.
That's right, it's just a number.
I feel like that's like a claim to fame in itself. Exactly,
that's what I'm going for. It's like
Luke, yours is one of my favorite comics on Instagram, actually. One that I look forward to the most.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, so I would love to hear a little bit about, how you use Instagram. So for example, what sorts of things you post on Instagram, how your feed reflects your work. Is it similar to the stuff that you do elsewhere? Or is it completely different?
So are we maintaining this order?
Yeah, unless somebody wants to chime in, and then certainly feel free to if you feel like it follows on something someone's saying.
Well, I use my Instagram mainly. So I set mine up initially to just do a drawing a day. Like I kind of challenged myself to post a drawing every day. And then it sort of quickly became, people don't care about like my actual paid work that I'm doing. I never post any of my concert posters or any, commissions I've done or anything like that. I just have to do this. I'm stuck doing this free strip now on Instagram forever, this free daily strip, because as soon as I post something, that I've been paid to do, people get annoyed. So yeah, so that's how I use Instagram, is just this daily comic, sort of whatever's happened that day or what's going on in the news or just some stupid thing I thought of. And yeah, that's how I've been using it for 4 years now or something. Is just a drawing every single day.
Pretty cool. I kind of do it differently because I publish a daily strip in the newspapers, so that's where my strip, and that's where it goes to. So generally, what I put in the Instagram account is just other stuff that happens to me, or if that's me and my father, for example, and my Commodore 64. I don't know, like, if I find an old photograph, or maybe I'm working on something and drawing and just enjoying, the sketchy part. I will put a sketch or how I'm getting to the drawing. Maybe I'll recommend a comic book. If you guys haven't read Adrian to Mine, I really recommend it. You guys are gonna be very identified with it, I think. And so it's kind of like a little bit of everything. Sometimes I'll do a video, sometimes I'll do, just something that happened. But I don't, I do videos for kids with a weird hat. So whatever, it's kind of like an alternate version of my daily strip. So on the daily strip, it's very clear I'm doing this little world, and this is kind of the behind the scenes and adjacent stuff, I guess.
Cool. I guess I'm next. Instagram and Facebook for me are kind of my main source of building my audience. My only paid work really is my children's books with Scholastic. But other than that, I have to share all my work for free on Instagram, Facebook, and then I find ways to monetize it with the store. Like if you go a few posts, you'll see like the Bowels mug saying soon. And so, yeah, I have a whole merchandise store, and I have a warehouse, and I stock it with merchandise and sell the merchandise, and that's how I monetize Instagram.
Cool. Maritza.
Yeah, this is a super interesting conversation. I like hearing like how you guys did this too. I guess my work and the work I put on Instagram sometimes have been the same, but are usually, I've bounced around a lot in my career, so not a lot of it that I do outside of this really fits on my Instagram. And I kind of have the same problem where if I make something that doesn't really fit with the aesthetic, that the Instagram doesn't perform as well, people don't really care about it. But I also make a lot of stuff that is like under NDA and I can't really share it anyway. So that's not a huge problem. Yeah, I guess some of it's made specifically for Instagram. Yeah. Am I missing any part of that question?
Whatever, I don't think it's a question of missing. It's a question of what you want to talk about. So
yeah, well, I will say that like, I find there is a split between people who are Instagram personalities like IRL versus like an artist. So my feed doesn't really have any selfies or like personal information about myself. And I don't really know why it's like that. I think it comes from some amount of insecurity about being a woman on Instagram, because if you show your face, people always have things to say about how you look or who you are or whatever. And I wanted the feed to be exclusively comics work. But then you start thinking like, maybe my comics work would do better if they knew who I was as a person, or maybe it would hurt it. I don't know. It's a very strange split. Also, hi Gemma.
Hi Gemma. So we are welcoming Gemma Carell to the call. So Gemma, can you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell them where they can find you on Instagram. And we were literally just on the first question. So if you want to talk a little bit about the type of work that you put on Instagram and how it reflects your other work, that would be great. If that's too much, I can repeat some of it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Gemma Carell. I on Instagram, I'm just at Gemma Carell, or one word. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator. There's my Instagram. the stuff that I share in there is partially personal work and partially work that I've done for clients or for websites like FOUGNER, which is this, which is what is on the screen right now. And then some just kind of silly old personal work that I did 6 years ago.
Canada Moist.
Those are really good. Yeah. So, so I want to know a little bit about, you know, Gemma, you just brought up that you've got some old personal work on here. I'd love to know a little bit about when each of you got started on Instagram. You know, I know that like there have been people who've been on there for years and years and people who've just got started. So, you know, how long have you been using it? And, you know, and tell us a little bit about like your journey to finding an audience on Instagram. Did it, you know, is it something that built slowly? Is it something where you had like one thing go crazy viral and then you were like, oh, I have people watching me? You know, I think there's probably a lot of folks watching who are interested in learning about how they can build an audience. So, you know, hearing about the different experiences folks have with that would be great.
Well, I started a few years ago. I want to say like it was like either 2014 or 2015, and it was on the back of a load of work that people were looking for me, and I didn't really have, other than a website, I didn't really have an online presence. So I started doing this Instagram thing just to build it up, and I did it again like every day for about 2 years, and I built up a following. I built up like 10,000 followers or something. But then I'd started doing this sad Chewie thing initially for Super Deluxe, but it was sort of the story of Chewbacca dealing with his life after Han Solo died. And the same joke every week. I did one a week, and it was literally, the point was to drive this joke into the ground, where it went from like funny to not funny, tedious, and then it was funny again because it was so tedious. And that was my first thing that blew up online. So I mean, my following.
Aw, look at him.
Following grew from there. That was the main thing. Luckily, I had kind of Super Deluxe, who I was initially doing it for. I had their built-in audience. So yeah, it grew from there. And then since then, it's kind of become political stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, initially it was a personal project, and then work kind of came through that. And then yeah, this is really what blew up for me.
Cool.
Copyright theft is the big thing. There you go.
Yeah, my Instagram, I have no idea when I started. I guess 2013 or 14 too. And like everything, it was, I don't know you guys how you started, but these things pop up in our life, and then everybody's doing it, and then they tell you you have to do it. Yeah, and you have, okay. So I just, you know, started the account and put some photographs, and then I had no idea why I was doing this. You know, what was the reason? Then it was like 2 followers, then it's 5 followers, and it's 12 followers. And again, since my daily strip already ran in the newspapers and in so it had a way out, you know. I just decided, well, I'm gonna just put up, you know, whatever kind of happens to me, or it's, you know, it's a good place to also, you know, publicize if I'm doing a something that doesn't have to do with comics. For a long time, I did a show with a musician called Kevin Johansson, who's a very good musician. Spotify, please. And we used to do this show where, well, while Kevin would play, I would draw. So we would put that stuff up. Then I've been doing some stand-up with another friend called Alberto Montt from Chile. So that can go. So that made me travel a lot. So, you know, if you're in Medellin or in Mexico or in Venezuela, it's nice to put a little there. It's my pal Kevin. Some of the covers for his records, as you can see, I did. And I don't think he paid me that much, you know. But anyway, we used to do a lot of traveling, so there's some of that stuff over there. And then again, also, if I meet a cartoonist, my way to recommend cartoonist people is to do a selfie with It's called Fotos con Dibujantes, like photographs with artists. So if I meet you guys, we'll have to do that. And I put it up there, and then you have like, for some reason, 22 followers from Argentina. You go like, why do I have like some followers from Argentina? There, it's me and Walt Dorn, who made this very funny Trolls movie. And so yeah, it was, I thought of it kind of as a, yeah, you know, behind the scenes thing. So the strip is what I show, it's my professional thing. And then this thing is just whatever else is going on. Not my family though, because you know, every now and then there'll be a photograph of one of my kids from afar. But yeah, it's kind of unnerving to put your actual life there. So my dog, he shows up, he pops up. he's snoring down here right now. He says, there he is, Elliot.
You.
Oh, hello, Elliot.
Yeah,
You'll be on the panel next year, Elliot.
He's a good-looking guy.
So, Nick, tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Sure. I started on Facebook, and I built a fairly large audience there. And I don't know exactly when I went to Instagram, but it was the same kind of thing where I was hearing that I should be on there. And so I just tried it out, and I don't know exactly how the audience was building. I think people were just kind of looking for it. And a few years ago when I started it, it seemed like it was building naturally, pretty rapidly. I don't know if it was from hashtags or just the discovery or what, but I think posting consistently is pretty important with any medium. And I don't do that so well now, but I used to do it very well. And I think if you can do 3 or even 5 a week, it really helps to get more engagement there. So this built up over time. I don't really know how it got to be the size that it is. Like Facebook, I can kind of understand because I had a bigger page share my work here and there, and it really helped to build my audience. But Instagram, I have to assume it's mostly discovery, or people that just already knew the work.
Cool. Maritza, how long have you been on Instagram? How did you wind up in this weirdo place?
That's a good question. I want to say it's probably like 2011 or 2012 I joined Instagram. But when I did, I don't think it was like a decision that was based around my art. I had a webcomic at the time that I had some mild success with. A couple of things had gone viral, and it didn't really click that like that could happen on Instagram too, until I started working at BuzzFeed. And that was like a big game changer for me, because when I was writing and illustrating for BuzzFeed, I could tag my handle in it. And so my job eventually over time became growing the BuzzFeed accounts, specifically the BuzzFeed Comics accounts. And I was able to employ some of the things that I learned doing that. And we started tagging the artist specifically. So, and I think it was a slow build after that. I mean, having something go viral obviously helps a lot, but I don't think I can pinpoint it to one comic in particular. I think just over when it starts to happen exponentially, if you post, like Nick said, consistently enough, and frequently enough, it becomes something that if you think about it too much, it can take over your whole life, and you start living your life by an Instagram schedule. You can get to become a huge nerd about it if you want to.
So Gemma, tell us a little bit about when you got on Instagram and how you built your audience.
I'm not exactly sure when it was, but it was probably kind of the same time as everyone else. And I just got on there because everyone else was doing it. My audience, I think, kind of just grew organically. I didn't do anything in particular to build it, although my work got shared by some pages. Sorry if you can hear my pug, he's on my lap, like making a lot of noise.
Aw.
There he is, it's Mr. Pickles. So I when I first started on Instagram, I was sharing nearly entirely personal work, but it was more just kind of like puns and not super personal comics. And then over time, I started sharing stuff that was more about me and particularly about mental health, and kind of not really expecting anything from it. I wasn't sure if people would be into it. This was kind of before mental health became a big like a big subject on the internet, and so I was kind of surprised that a lot of people came to me from that, and now more recently I've started sharing a lot more work that I've done for other clients, and I share a lot of stuff. That my new thing is that I share like 50% personal work and 50% stuff that I have already been paid for to do. We'll probably get to this later, but people tend to expect free stuff from you if you're an artist on Instagram.
Well, that's a perfect segue actually into the next question I wanted to ask. I think, now Gemma's mentioned it. I think Luke and Nick both mentioned it. This idea that people, that once you start doing free stuff on Instagram, people expect a continual supply of free stuff on Instagram. But I'd love to know if for any of you it's worked the other way. Have you gotten any cool opportunities because of your work on Instagram? Has anybody, have you caught anybody's attention? Have you gotten cool jobs? Has somebody like picked up something that you did there and wanted to make it into something bigger?
For me, certainly, like almost everything I've done has come through Instagram. There's been like a load of cool opportunities. The biggest one, like the one that comes to mind for me, was because I was doing all this political stuff, I got hit up by the Hollywood Reporter to do an illustration of Trump. And they were like, okay, we need this next week, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, cool. So I drew it, and because I was really excited about it. It was like a really cool project. And then they were like, oh, actually, the deadline has moved. We need it by midnight tonight. And so, oh, well, I mean, and I'd already finished it, but I didn't tell them that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm good. I mean, that's a crazy deadline. I'm going to have to like double the fee. And like, yeah, that's fine, but we need it by midnight tonight. So like I sent it 5 minutes after midnight to make it look like I'd really struggled to do it. And then the next day, it was all over the news because it was for when they leaked Richard Wolff's Fire and Fury. I think it was Richard Wolff, right? Whatever the big book that fire. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's exactly it. So I tuned into the news the next day, and it was this illustration was all over the news because like the Hollywood Reporter had surprise published like the first chapter of this huge book. And so that's the biggest one to me that came through Instagram. It was pretty nuts.
Wow.
And then, I mean, other than that, I've done stuff for like Airbnb and Lyft and like loads of concert posters for musicians and stuff that I really like, and like clothing companies and stuff. It's been nuts. I mean, Instagram's been great for me. And yeah, I mean, like all the art directors and stuff that follow me on there. So yeah, I mean, basically all of my work has come through just messing around on Instagram. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, my theory, I haven't been in the dating world for a while. I've been married for like 20 years. So, this happened before, the whole Instagram thing. But I'm pretty sure when you start dating someone, the first thing they do is they go on your Instagram account and they figure out, oh, this guy has so many followers. And I think the same thing goes for when you're looking for a job. I guess the second you're out of the office, they go to your Instagram or your Twitter or your Facebook and they check out, okay. And I'm pretty sure this happened because in 2007, pre all these things, I tried to syndicate my strip here in the States. I got a call from other syndicate, not King Features, which was the one I really wanted. And I remember going in that meeting and they couldn't care less about like my little penguins and my weird nonsensical humor. And cut to 8 or 9 years later, I go to King Features and I have a very nice meeting. And I'm probably sure that right after I left, they went to the Instagram and they were like, oh, for some reason, this guy has all these followers. Maybe we don't really understand the strips, but And yeah, probably. I don't know. It's a theory, T. I'm not 100% sure. But so I don't know exactly what I got directly from Instagram or from the other, social networks. But probably they are looking. They are going like, should we hire this guy? Oh, look at all those followers. So yeah.
Nick, do you have any stories about jobs you've gotten through Instagram?
Well, I don't really get a lot of work because I'm not like a good artist like a lot of these people. So I think people aren't exactly looking for commissioned work or anything, but there's interest in the work as a brand, I think because of its popularity. So I think pretty much anything that I've gotten has been because of the popularity, including my published works. And I do get messages, and it's cool to occasionally talk to like a celebrity that is on Instagram and just be able to have a conversation, because maybe they like your work, or you talk to them and they look up your work, and that who knows what that can turn into. But yeah, I think in general, just having a larger audience has been very helpful, as somebody who is not a talented artist, to like pursue opportunity.
Can we bring back up Gemma's cartoon about imposter syndrome right about now? Because I feel like that's appropriate to the. So Maritza, tell us about if you've gotten any opportunities because of your Instagram work.
Well, first, Nick, you're a good artist. Don't worry. I think I agree that like when you go in for job interviews, people will Instagram stalk you afterwards. And I've had a number of jobs where it's actually kind of a factor. So I work for an app called TikTok now, which is partially a social media app. And I think it was a factor in me getting hired there because they wanted someone who at least was like savvy-ish in that kind of way, in terms of knowing a little bit about trends online and that kind of stuff. I've also had like very random people reach out to me to see if I would partner with them to like sell a toothbrush or something like that. I probably get emails like that a couple times a month. I've never done it before because that's weird, but that's about it.
And Gemma, do you have any experiences that fall into this category?
Yeah, well, I think I would not have much of a career without Instagram and social media. So I think they came out about the same time that I graduated from college, from art school. And our professors were encouraging us to go and meet clients in real life, which I am not good at. I am really bad in meetings and at kind of bigging up my work in front of people. So social media was a great promotional tool for me from the start. And I have had quite a lot of work from social media, a lot of stuff which is just basically to use my style to advertise or promote something. I get a lot of requests, but I only take the ones that are from brands or companies that I like, or people who are environmentally friendly and so on. So I'm pretty lucky that I'm able to choose and to basically just make cartoons that I might be making anyway, but get paid to make them.
That's great. It's really nice to hear that, that for all the free stuff that, so many of you are giving away that it does actually reap some benefits. That's, that's one of those things where I think you constantly hear, well, okay, what's social media good for? Why am I doing this? Why am I adding this work to my day every day? And hearing that, that it can bring people different types of opportunities, different types of work is really nice to know. So if we're talking about, let's say, the folks who are watching this right now, and they're people who are maybe like, oh, okay, maybe I should get an Instagram account, or maybe I haven't been using my Instagram account in a way that's been as beneficial to my career as it could have been. Do any of you have advice that you would share with somebody who's like, okay, I'm gonna like go home and or they're probably already at home. Let's not kid ourselves, but I'm gonna get on my computer and I'm gonna look at my Instagram account, and then I'm gonna get on my phone and I'm gonna figure out how to do this in a way that's going to, that's gonna help my career, and that I'm gonna think about how I can build this. What would you do? What would you suggest someone do if they were starting out today?
It's a good question. From a practical point of view, I believe we were all quite lucky to start when we did, because it seems like Instagram's really changing their algorithm now to, I want to say punish is the wrong word, but to hide smaller creators that don't already have a big following, kind of in a way to try and encourage you, I guess, to pay for promotions and stuff. So it is quite tricky now. I don't know if starting an Instagram right now would be as easy for new people as it was for us. But I saw an art director the other day saying, I see all these kids like starting Instagrams and, they post every day and stuff, and their work develops and stuff. And I don't like to see that. I want to see you like release everything once your work's fully formed. But that really didn't make any sense to me, because you could be practicing drawing at home. I mean, that's the thing. All of us, we're posting so often on Instagram, whether it's paid work or what, but it's stuff you'd be drawing anyway. Like you'd be we all like to draw. We'd just be sitting down and drawing. So why not share it and build a following, as you're sort of learning? It doesn't make sense to me. So to sum it up, my advice would be just start an Instagram and start posting and use hashtags. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, my feeling, I am realizing, I think I'm the older here, the older one. So I will talk as a guy with gray hairs in the beard. Because I remember, this is from way back before the millennial stuff. I remember like in the 80s, like a big table in MTV or something, and there was all these musicians and they were giving like a conference or something. And it was the beginning of MTV. So they asked the musicians, what do you think about the video clip format or something like that, because it was the new thing. And I remember Hall or Oates. I don't know I never knew which one was which, but Hall or Oates said like, oh, we are musicians. We don't really care about these videos. It's about the music, man, or whatever. And then next to them was Madonna. And Madonna was like, yeah, I'm doing videos, I'm doing music, I'm doing whatever comes my way. So, and we never really heard that much from Hall & Oates since. But Madonna kind of, kept around. She's still around. And that's the thing. When something technical, like a new technological thing shows up and it's good to show your stuff, whatever, just there she is. The great Jason Chatfield, working the computers and finding everything. So, and who else is there? Blowing my mind. There he is, Hall or Oates, going like, no, man, it's all about the music for me, man. And Madonna is like, no, dude, we'll never hear from you ever again, or your mustache. But so what I'm saying is, yeah, something shows up, try to figure it out. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it will go away in a couple of years. I remember I was very good at doing vines for some reason. Where are those things? Where did they go? Either TikTok, I feel a little bit old for it, but yeah, I don't know. But generally, yeah, if there's a way for you to show your stuff, if you can figure it out, it's just a tool, and like we've all seen here, some people will use it one way, other people will use it other way. There's no wrong way to use it. Just try to have fun with it. It's, you make drawings and you work, and if you're a dancer, dance and put it online, and you just have fun. And think, remember Hall or Oates.
Cool. I guess I'm next. Well, first of all, my Hall & Oates cover band name is going to be Hall or Oates. But I think, going to any social media platform that's still popular, like Instagram, and just being consistent is pretty important. And I think, like Luke was saying, it helps you hone your craft a little bit and figure out your style, which is good. And while you're doing that, you share, and you can potentially build an audience. And once you have a good stockpile of work, I always say, like, once you have, say, 100 comics, then you're kind of in a good position to go after more things, whether that's getting an agent or a publisher, or you want to get on to an online publisher. Having that body of work on Instagram would be very helpful for that. That's something they can scan through. So even if you aren't building a really big audience, there's a great benefit to it.
Maritza,
I think that's a really good point. I think one of the keys is to make as much work as you can and post it consistently, and just kind of commit to your vision for it. When I was working managing the freelancers that would make comics for us at BuzzFeed, and I got a lot of emails from people who had just started an Instagram account, and they had like 3 comics on the account, and they wanted to be featured and wanted to get hired. But that's not really enough work to tell, what your vision for your comic is, or, actually your level of skill, or whether you can follow through on a project or not. And sometimes it can be discouraging if, you make 50 comics and you haven't gone viral yet. That happens all the time. Even if you're the greatest artist in the world, it might not happen for a long time. But this is like a compilation, don't worry about it. This is a compilation actually of like a bunch of artists, a bunch of us that worked together when we were at BuzzFeed. What was I saying? So I think you have to kind of really love what you're doing, and you can't lose sight of the fact that you're making comics because you enjoy it and not necessarily because you want to go viral. Because if you are not doing it because you enjoy it, you're going to hate it very quickly, because you're putting a lot of work out there, and takes a lot out of you to do it, and you're not getting anything for it. You really just have to be fulfilled by doing it. I would say also, like, pay attention to the algorithm and the trends and stuff, but don't let it rule your life. Again, it's just a tool, and you should be using it, in a way that's comfortable for you, not trying to like force yourself to fit a square peg in a round hole or anything like that.
I'd second that and say I think people can tell when you're being when it's your voice and when you're being genuine, because I think that's what people want, is your perspective on stuff. And I think when you're clearly just trying to go viral,
people can tell. They can always tell.
Sometimes it works, but 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. And then you start doing stuff that's in your voice, and people go, "Why am I following this idiot?" So there you go.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really good point. Like when I was in school, I used to make comics for my friends, and I would share them with maybe 2 or 3 friends, and that was it. I was just doing it because, I'm sitting there like, is it funny? And waiting for the reactions. But I was just doing it because I loved doing it. And so you can kind of tell if somebody actually likes it. And I think it's important that you're not just going in it to be viral. And I get a lot of people asking for advice on it who haven't even begun to draw anything. And I think, well, what's your goal here? Just because you think that it's really easy to get popular and or famous doing this, because it's just not. If your heart isn't in it, it's not going to work.
I think that's a good idea to make comics like you're only showing it to your two best friends. Like, that's probably a good method.
Yeah.
Gemma, do you have any advice you want to share?
I don't really have much to add. Everybody said kind of what I was thinking, just about making comics for yourself, not trying to fit into what you think is going to be popular. There are definite trends on Instagram and all social media, and you can tell when you scroll through somebody's feed if they're just kind of trying to hop onto a trend and then they've got 10 different styles and 10 different kind of ideas. Not one particular thing. Like, I feel like my Instagram is all over the place because I've got like dog comics and mental health comics and comics about periods. And maybe it doesn't look that way to others, but I see somebody doing like just dog comics. I'm like, maybe I should kind of narrow it down and just do one subject and instead of trying to do everything. But on the other hand, I just make comics that I enjoy making and things that pop into my head. So I have no answers.
Yeah. I think it's different for everybody is what we're, is really what we're hearing. These are great. I actually have a different set of the self-care reward stickers, but I'm excited to get new ones soon. Yeah, so we're just about out of time. So what I would love for everybody to do is if we can just once again get everybody's names and where people can find you on Instagram. And if you have something else that you're selling right now, if you've got a book out or, a store where folks can, buy something, or Patreon, give people the name of that too. So we can, we can send some folks your way.
Okay, well, I'm Luke McGarry at Lukey, Lukey, McGarry. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm not very popular on Twitter. I have a shop, lukemcgarry.com/shop, and I've just released my debut solo single as a musician called Black Leather. And you can buy that on vinyl. You can buy it as a 7-inch.
Cool.
There you go. It's the first thing on the page there. I did an animated music video for it and everything. And on the vinyl, when you play it, it's got a little animated zoetrope label.
Cool.
So there you go. So I do a little dance as it spins.
I'm way less cool than Luke, definitely. Especially with the 2 guitars behind you, man. That's an excellent parenthesis you're working there. I'm Por Liniers, P-O-R Liniers, which is a very it's a very stupid name. It's in Argentina, it makes sense, Liniers, but I thought I was doing comics just for Argentina. The sad thing is my last name, my actual surname is Siri, S-I-R-I, like the thing in the phone. So I would be making way, way more money with the Apple people. But, I took this decision way, way back. And yeah, I just enjoy, publishing my Macanudo daily strip in Comics Kingdom and wherever they want it. And that's about it. There's a few books of mine, and there's thank you, Mr. Jason. There's a Patreon page I just set up where you can get, some extra features, a little bit more stuff. And there's a little bit of a Macanudo community, which is a fun thing. So that's about it. Sorry about that.
I The Awkward Yeti. The handle on Instagram is at The Awkward Yeti. And I sell merchandise on my store, but I'm kind of pushing Patreon right now because I'm trying to fund a video game, a Heart and Brain video game that I'm working on. and some animated shorts. And I pay for all that stuff myself, so I'm trying to get some funding to help me pay for it, just so I can do new fun things.
My handle is just my name, Maritza Patrinos, Maritsa Patrinos. I don't think there is another one of me in the world, so it should be easy. I have a book that came out about a year ago called Common Blessings, Common Curses, which is like a small illustrated humor book that is reversible. You can turn it upside down and read it either way, by Chronicle, if you're interested in that. I don't know what else. I have a Patreon too, but it's very informal, so feel free to check it out if you want to give me a small tip.
So I am Gemma Correll everywhere, which is GEMMACORRELL. I also work on bi-monthly, and I've also started publishing comics on a new app which is called Tiny View.
Great.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and thank you all so much for spending some time with us today. It's been great hearing from all of you. Again, I'm T. FOUGNER. I'm the editorial director for King Features and Comics Kingdom, and you can find Comics Kingdom on Instagram at Comics Kingdom. So thanks, everybody. Happy virtual NCS Fest, and I'll talk to all of you soon.